Happy Friday, everyone! Hello, it's Jason Crispine.
And Michaela Garen.
And we are excited to talk about Anne of Green Gables. And
Yeah.
normally we have Thursdays at 3, but one of our cast members was going to be traveling, and so we didn't want to have them not included, so we decided to do it today instead. And also today is our kickoff day for our Anne of Green Gables for streaming that show, so we thought, let's go live on Friday. Why not? Michaela and I have been quarantining in our office, so you're like, why aren't they wearing their masks? We have been all the good stuff, like making sure we've been good, all that jazz. So, but yeah, we're excited to talk about Anne of Green Gables. We realized this week that today originally would have been our official opening night for Newsies. We would have been opening Newsies tonight and having a great 2-weekend run of Newsies. And so it's kind of weird to think like, oh, we are having an opening night kind of, but we're opening the show that we should have opened in March tonight. But that's still exciting that we didn't have to cancel that show, that we just had to postpone it. Oh, Braden is watching. Hey, Braden. There's our station master and president of Queen's Academy. I can't remember.
You just wait for that speech.
That speech. Which, P.S. Braden, great job memorizing that speech, because pretty sure I would have just had it on the podium to read, and then looking at editing, I was like, man, he had the whole thing memorized.
He's like, wait, I didn't know.
I could have had it written down on the podium. Also, cool jacket, Michaela.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway, as you guys are watching, we're going to bring on cast members here in a little bit, but if you have any questions for the cast members or for the production team or anyone, let us know for sure. I'm getting a quick text. Okay, no, anyway, I thought it was about, you're on the wrong thing, but no. Mandy says, I miss your live performances. Oh, we miss live performances as well. Oh my gosh, we are dying not having live performances. But for those people who don't know, instead of canceling Anne of Green Gables when we found out about this huge pandemic, of course, we quickly restructured some things. Poor Michaela was making filming schedules, and we were able to gather our almost our entire cast and film our production. We want to say a huge shout out to Richard Wilcox, who did all of our filming and did our editing for this production. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Michaela, how many times have you seen it now?
I have definitely seen it 4 times.
Okay, I've only seen it 3 because we've seen so many versions of it through editing and then sitting in and then rewatching it. Yes. We literally sat. And last week, I think, we sat down and just watched it again, just to make sure everything looked as clean and polished as we could have it. Hello, Grace. So glad you're watching. I love it. I love it. Alan Burns says, looking forward to tonight's opening at 6 p.m. We're so glad you're going to watch it. It's going to be awesome. Oh, Brayden says, that monologue almost killed me. Well, we're glad it did not, because it was a long monologue. Can't wait for all the viewers to see you recite that monologue. So we have some cast members that we wanted to bring in to talk about the filming process, to talk about the show. I was not that familiar with Anne and her Gables of Green before reading the script, but you were a huge Anne of Green Gables fan.
A little obsessed.
Yeah. So like, I would always be like, Michaela, tell us more about this moment. Is this correct? And in different things like that. So we're gonna ask the cast members as well. So we're gonna bring on first in this order. We're gonna bring in our Anne Shirley herself, Miss Ashlyn Baum.
Hi.
Hey, Ashlyn, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
I see your hair is still a little red.
Yes, it is. It's faded a lot, but
yeah, you're gonna keep it red for a while.
As long as it stays, I'm not the roots.
As long as people recognize me as Anne Shirley in Anne of Green Gables.
Exactly.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Let's also bring in our brother and sister duo, Matthew and Marilla Cuthbert. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen them. So let's bring in Caden Burns and Emily McCauley. How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. You guys look so fantastic. Emily and Caden, you look so young, and I just realized why you look so young. It's because all we've been seeing you is looking so old.
Yeah.
In this digital streaming of Anne of Green Gables. You guys definitely had to age yourself in the show. So it looks. That's how, instead of like Botox and like plastic surgery, people should just for 2 weeks wear old age makeup and gray their hair, and then when they take it off, people are gonna be like, "You look fantastic."
It's a good alternative.
People would save
I'll remember that.
so much money. Okay, so as people are watching, first off, we want to remind people that yes, Anne of Green Gables will premiere tonight. Tonight's our kickoff at 6 p.m. Our show is going to run July 10th through the 24th. You can purchase your virtual ticket to stream the show on our website, amarillo-littletheater.org. You can also call our ALT box office, 806-355-9991, to secure your digital ticket. And the shows, people are wondering if it's like Netflix where you can just watch it at any time. You actually have to purchase a specific show. The show times are at noon and 6 p.m. every single day, starting tonight at 6 p.m. But there's a 6-hour window to watch it. So if you buy it at noon, you can watch it at 3. If you buy it at 6, you can watch it at 8. All that good stuff. So we kind of want to make sure people are aware of that. Also, I failed to mention, tonight is our last night to stream our past production of Annie, the other redheaded orphan show that we did. It's like somebody was like, "Why are you only streaming redheaded orphan shows?" I was like, I don't know. But this is Anne with an E, not Annie with an I.
True.
Yeah.
Great story. Riveting facts here. Okay, so let's talk about the show real quick, guys. We'll go in order, starting with Ashlyn. Were you guys familiar with the book before the show started?
I was sort of. I knew of it, but I didn't watch the movie. I watched the movie right before auditions,
Okay.
so I could get a feel for the character,
Yeah.
and then I fell in love with it immediately. But
Were you? Did you watch the Anne with an E Netflix series?
no, I watched the original movie with Megan Follows.
Okay, gotcha. What about you, Caden?
I also was not super familiar with the book before going into this. I think it was after Sweeney Todd closed that I knew that my next audition would be Anne. So that was kind of when I started researching, and I watched some clips from Anne with an E and some from the original movie in the 80s. I think sure.
I think it's late 80s.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So yeah, just watched a few clips from each of those shows and kind of got a feel for the show, and also like Ashlyn fell in love with it. It's a great
Nice.
story.
What about you, Emily?
I had been in love with this story for a really long time. Since I was a little girl, I had read like all of them, and I had loved them. I started to taper off at the end because they get really long, but I had read the first one at least 3 times when I was little.
Oh wow, you were a fan.
Mm-hmm.
So were you like, Marilla, I want Marilla, or were you like, I want to be Anne, or like, I want to be Rachel, or I want to be the horse?
No, I showed up to auditions and I was like, well, yeah. Like, it was probably the least prepared I've ever been for an audition.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Well, you got the part, so.
It worked out.
You got a good part, so maybe that's a trend for you. We do not advocate not preparing for auditions here.
No.
Again, don't forget, if you guys have any questions for any of the cast members, please type them in the comments below. Let's also talk about, so with the story, Ashlyn, this was your first big role on our ALT stage. Of course, you've had great supporting roles and ensemble roles in the past. When you saw your name on the cast list, what did you think?
I didn't think it was real at first. I freaked out. I never like going into these auditions, I never imagined getting Anne. I was like going for Marilla or Rachel or something like that. And when I saw that I got Anne, I just freaked out. I started crying. I got so excited. We were in a United parking lot, so people were probably staring at us. But
why is that little girl crying in the parking lot? I don't know.
I was so shocked, and I was just overjoyed.
I love that. Was this something that you were also nervous about? Because I mean, the whole show is on your shoulders, basically. Like, was there maybe like 2 scenes that she wasn't in?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there was 2 scenes that I was not in.
Yeah.
I was going into it. I was super nervous, but I was also confident in myself. Like, I knew I was ready. I was ready to take on a role like this. So I felt pretty confident in myself. But of course, I was like, wow, these are a lot of lines. This is a lot of blocking and all of that. But I've always been pretty good at memorizing things. So I wasn't super worried. But
Sure, yeah. Kate and Emily, but what about you guys? When you saw the cast list, what were your thoughts?
I I was at Team EA when the cast list came out.
Remind those of us who are not in part of choirs.
Team EA is the Texas Music Educators Association, and I was there. Ethan and I were both there for the All-State Choir, and so we basically are in rehearsals all day for 3 days straight. And so that Friday, the cast list came out, but we were in rehearsals until I think like 12:45 that day, and the cast list came out at noon. Mm-hmm. And so we like turn our phones off and we're like not allowed to be on them. It's super hardcore learning choral stuff. So me and Ethan are heading to lunch and I turn my phone back on and I got a text from Emily that just said, "Congratulations, brother." And I was like, oh my gosh, the ANNE cast list is out. And so I like immediately went up to the ALT's website and like looked at the cast list. And I was so excited just because this is my senior year. And so to have surprising. Crazy. So to have a really, really strong role like this to kind of bookend my times at ALT was super great. Yeah.
What about you, Emily?
Well, I was upset that I had been the first, like that I had let him know because I really thought that he had seen it by then. So I texted him and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know." And I was like, dang it. Anyway, I didn't even look for my name at the top of the list at first because I was like, it's the senior show. Like, I hope it goes to the seniors, you know. And then I like looked back up at the top of the list after I didn't see my name in the ensemble, and I was like, oh, and it was like a totally like gear shift, and I was like, okay, like this will be really fun.
Nice. You guys, I feel like the three of you especially had such a great bond.
Oh yeah.
You guys kind of alternate each other and would sneak away to like the corner of a room in the adventure space to like go over lines or like. Also, I feel like you all three were harder on yourselves about lines than we were. Like,
that's probably true.
Emily, I thought Emily was going to go home and like hurt herself because she would mess up lines. I was like, Emily, it's okay. Like, this is just day one of blocking rehearsal. You're like, no, I gotta get this down.
Emily, you and Ashlyn did something cool when you were memorizing lines, right? Like you used the first letter. What was that?
For monologues, we would write down the first letter of every word. After we would go over it a few times with the actual script, and then we would use a piece of notebook paper with the first letter of each word on it and use that to go through it. And then it would be that was the most effective way I've ever memorized anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. When I was relearning it after we like came back to film it, I literally wrote the entire script out like that. Like all of my lines I wrote out like the first letter and the punctuation. It was several pages, but it was worth it.
Wow, that's such a cool keepsake also for like to have a memento. Caden?
My memorization method, I have always like chunked it. So I like take a few words at a time and I'll like do that and then add a few more words onto it and just keep repeating it from the beginning. But thankfully, Matthew is a man of few words. So the majority of my lines were maybe 2 words, and typically those 2 words were "well now." So I admire.
When in doubt, if it got quiet, just say "well now," and
yeah, that's basically
80% of the chance it was probably your line.
Yep, that's very true. So I admire Ashlyn and Emily for being able to memorize all of those line loads because they're crazy.
For sure. Emily and Caden, did you guys study any like? I mean, I know you guys studied the movies and stuff like that, but how did you find yourselves? Because you guys play so much older in the show. Like, did you, picture somebody in your own family that's maybe older, or a grandparent, or a great grandparent, or study somebody, or how did you find that the aspect of the character?
I think a lot of it was really just when me and Caden would like meet up to go over lines, we would just like talk about like what their lives were like. And we'd be like, where do they live and where are their rooms and like how do they interact every day? And I think really just like getting to know each other as like an older character like helped me know Marilla better.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree with Emily. I think that us collaborating so much helps a lot. And I also believe that my dad, when I got cast as Matthew, I would come home from rehearsal and he would have some YouTube clip pulled up of like an older figure in some like classic movie and be like, you should emulate some of the things that these people are doing.
Sure.
He would show me some of those clips and I would watch them and kind of take little bits and pieces from those and make Matthew.
Sure. That's awesome. So let's talk about, we had a great question from somebody online, I think it's Rice, said pointing more at the directors, but everyone can chime in. What was a difficult hurdle during the rehearsal process other than the quarantine that y'all achieved by the time of filming? So what was something in the rehearsal process that was hard for you guys? Emily, I mean, poor Emily had to do so many things with props, like set the table, cut the cake, serve the cake, make sure that these napkins are here, make sure, I mean, the amount of props that you had in just the kitchen and dining room scene alone, that was a lot.
Mhm.
Was. And
Yeah.
I was so afraid that we only had one chance with the cake when we were filming. I was like, why are you trusting me with one cake? One cake.
As Michaela and I were watching that scene, I was like, man, that was some good cake. It was good.
It was delicious.
It was
So
hot.
good.
That's delicious.
I think for us, as far as like hurdles, I think it was just making sure each moment was as true as it could be on stage. It's hard whenever you guys are rehearsing, when we rehearse things out of order and then we put it together. So for those people who don't know, we were in acts. I think we were running acts. I think we did a full run.
I think we're on like our second
Full run, and we were already going to break for spring break and then come back to get into tech week when we had to like put everything on pause. So we hadn't seen the full show with costumes or lights or 100% of all the props and stuff like that. So I know it was hard kind of regrouping after being gone for so long, regrouping to make sure that the elements of those scenes were still there, plus getting the lighting done, getting costumes done, getting all those elements, and not having a dress rehearsal to make sure it all looked great and sounded great before filming. We rehearsed each scene maybe once or twice before we filmed it, and sometimes we were able to take more than one shot of filming the scene. But our biggest concern during the filming, I think, was making sure everyone was safe. And then it was like, okay, everyone is safe. Now let's get back to the artistic aspect of it. And you guys did a great job, especially you three coming in ready to work. I think you guys rehearsed on your own beforehand, and to kind of get you guys back up to par. But was there anything else, Michaela, for you during the rehearsal process?
I guess just making sure that we were like, it's such a different time now than it was, at the turn of the century. So the 1900s. So things like, I just remember, the poor cast, I was hounding them on Miss and Mrs. That was a big, huge thing. Yeah, I know.
I remember that rehearsal, Ashlyn Baum.
No.
That rehearsal.
That like was who that person was, though, and in the books, like, this is Mrs. So-and-so. It was huge. So just little things like that. But that's part of the fun of doing shows in different times.
I think there was one rehearsal where Michaela and I literally had to tell a kid that they could not have their cell phone in the scene because there was no cell phones back in the day.
Yes.
That was fun. Yeah. What about you guys for the rehearsal, Kaden and Ashlyn?
I would say my biggest thing would be consistency. It was really hard, especially when we were doing full runs and stuff, to make sure I would kind of start Matthew a lot younger than I probably should have. But then after a couple scenes, I would like get into the character, and then it would finally be like, okay, this is Matthew. And so I think my biggest challenge was just like from the get-go being like, I am a 65-year-old man, not an 18-year-old boy in Amarillo, Texas. Yeah.
What about you, Ashlyn?
Kind of the same thing as Kaden. Like, Anne changed her age so much through the show that every scene you could see her age just a little bit, and that was really hard to get down. And like, we aged with the makeup and hair, but also just like posture. Posture was something I really struggled with, like while she got older. How fast she would talk.
Let's talk about your character ages quite a bit in the show. I mean, not quite a bit. I mean, you're not like 87 at the end of the show, but you start off fairly young, and you have to mature in the show. Was that hard for you?
It was difficult, but I really used Megan Follows as a inspiration, and just how she pulled the character. She just really came together and matured, because when she was younger, she was so sporadic,
right,
and energetic. But as she got older, she finally got a grasp of who she was,
for sure,
and could control herself.
For sure. Were there any characteristics of your characters that match you personally? Like, Marilla is this
When
way, and I found myself that way as well, and so I could pull that out even more.
When I first started, I was like, ugh, Marilla. I was like, she's such a granola character. She has no arc. I was like, she's just this old woman who hates life. And I was like, but then as I started to develop her character, I realized that she probably had a really like great childhood and probably wanted to do things with her life. And she just maybe didn't get a chance to. And like being able to see that like inner monologue kind of helped me to open up and be like, okay, like we're not so different. I hope I don't end up like Marilla, but like, okay, I get it.
Nice. Caden?
I think that Matthew and I share a similar empathy for people. I feel like Matthew is such a great caretaker, and he always is looking after Anne and tending for Anne. And I always try and make myself, I'm a helper, and so I try and just make sure to put other people's feelings before mine and make sure that I check in on other people and make sure that they're holding up. And I think that Matthew has some really similar qualities that I was able to bring forward.
Yeah. What about you, Ashlyn?
For me, it was Anne was very persistent. Like when she wanted something, she really wanted something, and she would just focus on that until she could somehow get it. So that's something that I also do. Sometimes I get a little bit obsessed over things, just like Anne. And also, like Hayden said, I was thinking Anne is always wanting to help people. She's always trying her best for people to like her and to just get in a better light of herself. And that's always what I'm trying to do as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. Our costumer, our amazing costumer, Crystal Burns, talked about trying to remember what costumes everyone was wearing in the scene prior for filming was crazy. Hopefully we got it all right. It's true, because we filmed it not in order because we wanted to make sure we brought in small groups in different times and stuff like that, and then with conflicts. So that was hard. There's we learned a lot in the filming process of this, like continuity. Like sometimes the tablecloth was in a different spot, and so it was like, hopefully, and it wasn't as noticeable. So there's little continuity elements for sure, but huge shout out to Palace Coffee, who helped us get back the rented costumes that we had rented for the show for you guys for sure, but some of our leads they had to come, and then we had to send them right back whenever all of this happened, and then Palace Coffee helped us get them back to us. So huge shout out to them. And it's interesting enough too, because the filming of it, Carla asked, I would like to know how the actors felt about having cameras. Did they cause you guys to be more nervous than the usual live audience? Would you like to do this format again? That's a great question. We'll go to you, Ashlyn, first.
I would say a little bit yes, because it's just when the cameras are like all.
Or yes.
Yes, I was a little bit nervous. More nervous than usual than I think I would have been with a live audience, just because with the cameras, every mistake that you made is on film in the cameras now.
Permanent, forever, ever. Everyone can see it forever.
Exactly. But at the same time, I had it in the back of my mind that, like, okay, if a big mess had happened, if I tripped or something, we could always redo it.
Yeah.
So, especially with that one scene with the crutches. That.
Oh my gosh.
Little do the audience know that Mr. Jason carried Ashlyn up flights of stairs to reset her every night or every shot because she had a class and could not go upstairs. So I think we have somebody that took a photo at some point of that. What about you, Caden?
I think it was a mix of both. I was nervous, but for different reasons. It was like what Ashlyn said, like when you make a mistake, it's going to be a lot more noticeable because it is on film and not in the back of a theater. Like you don't have like the distance, like the camera's just right there. But I also wasn't nervous at the same time because like Ashlyn said, we could retake, you had multiple shots. So it wasn't like a live performance where you have one chance to do it. And if something goes wrong, then that's just how it is. Like you had the ability to go back and kind of change things.
Sure. Yeah. Emily?
I don't think, answering the end of her question, I don't think I'd want to do it in this format again necessarily, just because it was so hard not to go in order. Like, especially because Marilla has like she ages and like she has a huge character arc and like development, and it was so hard to like pinpoint where I was in the show. But it was definitely a little bit more nerve-wracking. I remember me and Ashlyn, like before we went in the first day, we were like, are they going to be like, are the cameras moving? Are they going to be in our face? We were so nervous. But then we found out that they were like just an audience, and it was okay.
Yeah. I think for the filming process of it, I feel like if we had to do it again, we would know how to do it so much stronger, in the sense that we learned so much. Like, it's still, the product is fantastic, but I think we would have done things to make it easier on us. Like, we didn't realize sometimes, like, oh, we should probably have at least put some of these scenes together for filming, so that way it would have been easier for you guys, or different things like that as far as character development. But I thought, I mean, overall, you guys did an excellent job tuning into where your character was in the show, and everyone, the full cast did, I think, an absolutely brilliant job.
Yeah, and it was difficult because we weren't asking you guys to be film actors, you know, whereas usually you get in front of the film or in front of the camera and your acting has to change so subtly. We were asking you guys to be theatrical performers so we could still deliver a theater performance, but we were adding cameras. So I bet that was tricky for you guys too. You did a really wonderful job. I can't wait for you to see it.
Well, and also to piggyback on that, one character is definitely missing from the show, and that's the audience.
Yeah.
And so for you guys not to have that live reaction from the audience, I know as an actor you feed off of that, and it can, you know, elevate your character even more. And so watching it's a eerie, like, silence, like, sometimes. But for this play, I think it kind of works because there's not like a big, rousing, huge musical number that needs all this applause to make it feel better. It almost makes it even a little bit more intimate. Like, we're just kind of peeking in at these people's lives, and you guys did such a great job bringing them all to life. So kudos to all of you guys, for sure. Jennifer Lashnowski says, we can't wait to see it. Can't wait for our audiences to see it as well. Mabry says, I can't wait to see it as well, one of our other cast members. Alan Burns, he asked a question, but I'm trying to make sure. I don't know if I'm going to pull it out because it gives away part of the ending of the show. And so, Alan, I'll make sure to ask him and have him send that to you. Because I don't want to show or ask that question or show the question in case somebody doesn't know the ending of the show. Because it's a little bit of a spoiler alert. Let me go back and see. I think those are all the questions I have so far on comments. Don't forget, if you have a comment or a question you want to ask the cast, let us know by commenting below. Real quick, just a reminder, how did you guys get involved at ALT? Ashlyn?
Well, at first, I got involved when I was 2 or 3 and doing ballet with Miss Eugene.
Yeah.
But I stopped when I was 4 because I was so freaked out at classes and so nervous everywhere. But finally, I regrouped myself over the years. And so I started it up again when I was 7. So I've been doing the Academy for 7 years.
7 years, nice. Kaden?
Also 7 years. I started in my 6th grade year. My first musical was Shrek the Musical. And I was a little doo-wop dancer. But I got involved at ALT because that past year, y'all had done Little Mermaid Jr., and we were really good family friends with Sean Jones. And so my family got to talking to Sean, and he just would not stop talking about how amazing of a place ALT is and how he's made some of the best friends there and how he really feels like it's family. And so that very next year we signed up for classes just because I wanted to have something similar. And nice. I do. Yeah.
I love it. Emily?
My first show was actually Christmas Carol. I had done theater forever before that, but not at ALT. And I remember it was an awesome experience. And also to I got a lead on my first show, and that was also crazy and scary. And I was I don't know Jason.
I didn't read that script either. I just showed up. My training.
But it was,
join the
but it was everybody accepted me and took me in and helped me out right away. And it was great. And I've been here ever since.
Love it. Nice. I love giving Emily a hard time because I love it so much. Emily. Brayden, one of your fellow cast members, says, how did you guys connect with these characters? Did you already feel connected to the characters? Ashlyn, how did you
connect? Like I said, Anne is really persistent. I saw a lot of similarities in myself in Anne, even before auditions started.
Yeah.
When I was watching the show, she was very, like I said earlier, persistent. She was very passive aggressive, She always had an opinion. She was very opinionated. She had her thoughts on everything for sure. So in those ways, I felt pretty connected to her. She's like not as confident in herself, but she grows to be, which I have also experienced in the past. So I really did feel connected to her even before I auditioned. But like as we went through the rehearsal process, I got even more connected with her, and now I feel like I am Anne, and I just
You dyed
feel
your
like,
hair. You dyed your hair for it.
yeah. I really did I tried to embody her the best I could, and I feel like she'll always be a piece of me.
I love that. Kaden?
I think that I connected most to Matthew through kind of what me and Emily did with creating their backstory. I think that really was what helped the most, because I have only lived, like I said before, I'm an 18-year-old, so I don't really have the wisdom that Matthew would have through the years.
Yes.
So it was a little bit difficult to connect with him at first, but then I think through Emily's and I collaboration, that connection got stronger.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Emily?
Okay. I did not feel connected to her for the longest time. Like, I think y'all saw that. Y'all were like, this is not a character. And I was like, So Criselda actually pulled me aside one night, and she was like, hey, like, just food for thought. Like, she doesn't hate her life. Like, she was kind of just told me that, like, she did have dreams, and, like, she wants to see those dreams carried out through Anne. And like being able to connect to like maybe Marilla's younger self, and then also with Caden definitely helped like connect to Marilla there finally at the end.
Nice. Yeah. Yes. And we should say huge shout out to Criselda. Was one of our Criselda Reyes, one of our only production assistant on the show. So she did a great job as well. Tiffany Lauer says, Caden has an old soda for this role.
Thanks, Tiffany.
So true. Jennifer says, from Lincoln, what was the funniest thing that happened during rehearsals or filming?
There was a lot of things.
I was going to say one of the
things
that happened during rehearsals, not necessarily funny in the moment, but looking back, I'm like, oh, I guess it was funny. I literally did pick up Ashlyn Baum because she kept doing something wrong in my rehearsal. And I think I put you on Austin?
No, you threw Austin at me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I threw Austin. I picked up Austin and threw Austin.
Along with mini binders and pencils.
I at least like placed Austin on Ashlyn, but yes. I think I threw like an eraser at you or something at one point.
You threw multiple things at me.
Oh,
let's get the story straight for everyone.
How we lost Ashlyn.
Oh, no.
Gone away. Just kidding. Oh, Ashlyn's back. Oh, Ashlyn, you still got another 4 years at the academy. Just reminding you. She's like, Mr. Jason, anything at me. I don't know what he's talking about. No, sorry. So, Ashlyn, what's something funny that happened to you during the filming or the rehearsals?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. But
well, and you just kept getting something wrong, and we corrected you like multiple times over multiple days. And so then I thought, I feel like I have to do something drastic for her to remember to not do something, and it worked.
It was so hard because I think we were all used to like saying just because everybody just says miss now, like no matter what, like nobody ever says misses anymore. I don't know why, but that just like I don't know. As we all age, we just like it doesn't matter. But back then, it was very important.
Yeah, big deal for sure. Emily, what about you?
Definitely in filming, there was like a moth that got stuck under the cake, and so like I opened it and like a moth flew out, and I looked at Caden and I knew it was over. Like we tried so hard to keep it together.
There were so many moths.
Later that scene, Abigail like put the cake in her mouth, but it like fell out of her mouth, and we were like, "Oh no!"
Everyone in the cake scene looked to see if Abigail really does take a bite of her cake.
Oh my God.
That definitely made me laugh.
Love it.
Oh, I'm trying to remember. I think that this was I was the only person around. It was we were backstage. It was Chloe Spellman and I. And the set had just been built. It was when we were still in rehearsals, not in actual filming. And I think we were like rehearsing Act 1 for the first time. And she looked and saw that the platform, it was like hollow on the inside. And there was no way for you to see across the stage. Jason doesn't know this story.
I
So
don't know this story.
Chloe crawled all the way across the stage underneath the platform while I just sat there and watched. And it was a really good time.
Was that when she was missing her cues?
No, no.
Poor Chloe missed 2 offstage cues that she had multiple
Oh
times.
my gosh.
So much that she had to write me a apology letter. I will keep that apology letter for as long as I live. Anything that you can think of, Michaela, for filming or rehearsals?
Oh, it was so much fun. We were laughing all the time, I feel like. But I don't know what happened, but in editing, I was sitting down with Rick and I was like, what is going, nothing funny just happened. What? And apparently we had to stop a scene for some reason and start again at one point. And I was like, hey, Rick, we can't use this scene because all 3 of these guys are laughing. And I don't know why. I don't know what it was. It was you guys and Chloe Spellman. You don't have to say what it was. I don't know. But
I know.
I could not hold it together. And I was like, we can't use that. And y'all were like, and Kate, I think, yeah, Kaden was like in the back. So there were just lots of fun moments like that watching you guys just have a good time.
I also forgot to mention, well, this is like one of the very first rehearsals. I think the first or second time we ran the Minnie Mae scene, Minnie Mae was not there. So Emily stepped in.
Oh, yeah, Emily was our Minnie Mae, who is a little sticky.
We could not keep it together. She was like, the way she was coughing and like she was like crying. Just acting like a 2-year-old, and it was amazing. Don't get me wrong.
I didn't prepare for that one either. We could have cast her in that moment as well.
So good.
That was one of the best parts though, because you guys are so good. You share such a special, Emily and Ashley, you share such a special moment toward the end of the show. And you guys, one rehearsal, you were like crying and holding each other, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to stop this and give a note. I don't want it to go too far, so I was like, okay, we're gonna stop right there. And you guys, I mean, like sobbing, turn around, yep, yeah. I mean, like just a switch, and everyone was like, what? It was really
nice, nice.
Are there any moments?
I'm trying other than me throwing things at Ashlyn. I can't think of any other. During the filming, I think I was just so stressed about making sure everyone was safe, making sure we had all the shots, making sure continuity. I think it was just honestly eating the food. After this cake scene, we got to eat the cake. We ate the cookies. We ate. Yeah, it was awesome eating the food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. As we're wrapping up, we have a great question from Alan Burns. What will you take away from your time with Anne? What will you take away about this whole process? I mean, you know, from getting cast in the show, thinking you're going to have a 2-weekend run, it's going to be great, and then realizing, just kidding, we're putting things on pause, thinking maybe, is it going to come back? Is it not going to come back? I think I FaceTimed the 3 of you guys, letting you know when we were going to film it and before we announced it to the cast, then filming it. Now, you guys haven't seen the final product. It's coming out tonight for 2 weeks. So it's a weird process. It's definitely something that none of us knew that was going to happen going into it. So yeah, that's a great question. What will you take away from this time?
I will never take another show for granted. Like, even if I have the smallest one scene ensemble role, I will never think, oh, it's just one scene, it's not a big deal. I will every single meet and greet after shows, every time we have a school performance and the little kids are all giving you high fives as you go, I will never just think of that as just another performance again.
Sure. Yeah. That's, I mean, whenever something's taken away is whenever you realize how much you miss it and took for granted. Emily?
I definitely agree with Ashlyn that we'll never take it for granted again. But also, I think it was like a bright spot in the quarantine because it kind of, I mean, it hasn't been fun for any of us, I don't think. But it was like, it'll be a good memory to look back and be like, even though like we couldn't go anywhere and like we were stuck at home, like I still got to be with my friends and FaceTime people and like get lines back. And I think that was super fun. And I'll definitely take that with me, that memory.
Sure. What about you, Kaden?
I definitely agree with them. Never taking anything like this for granted again. But also, I think that it really taught me to have hope that things will work out in the end, because after that spring break rehearsal where you sat us all down and you said, this is going to be the last rehearsal for 2 weeks, was what you said. You said we were going to take a 2-week break, and then that 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks, and then those 4 weeks turned into 6 weeks, and then 8 weeks, and then we got an email saying that we were going to film it. And that whole time I just was holding out hope that something was going to be able to be done, and that we were going to be able to use this art that we had worked so hard on. We worked so hard on it, and we were so close to getting it up and running. And so I think just having hope that things will work out in the end is really the way.
Sure, and I'll agree with that in the sense of like, we as on the other side of things kept seeing things that were being taken away from you guys or being canceled, or you know what I mean? Like, I think that last rehearsal was like when they announced that they were canceling prom or different things like that, and it was like we just kept seeing so many things being taken away, and so we were like, we will do everything in our power. We will exhaust every avenue possible before we have to cancel this show, not only for your hard work, but also just because, I mean, this is a beautiful story. You guys worked all so hard. All the cast members worked so hard on this that we wanted it to be able to still be told in some way. And so our plan B was going to be to film it, if anything. And so when we finally had to get there and we pulled the trigger early enough where we could do it in a safe manner, we were really lucky. And huge shout out to our ALT staff for Joe taking temperatures and Lissa wiping down everything, and Noah and Brandon and everyone, Alan, making sure everything was lined up. We were really blessed. And even all of our amazing, I'm going to bring these up real quick, all of our amazing Academy funding sponsors there that have given us so much support financially to make sure our season runs great. And then even Sherry and David Schaefer there, they underwrote the video production and editing, of course, our production funding there, and then sponsored by those great family members and businesses. With all that support on top of just the support of our staff and our board to say, yes, do this in a safe manner, make sure everyone is okay, take your time. Rick Wilcox, who of course did all of our filming and editing, poured like so many hours into the show. I think he knows Anne of Green Gables better than all of us, because he has watched it so many times now. So I agreed that I think it was something that I was really proud that we were able to still do when other theaters were canceling things across the nation. Really, we were able to still do something with this, and huge shout out also to our media partners, Emerald Globe News, and all the media who's been supporting us and making sure to get the word out about the show. And we're excited. We cannot wait to share it tonight with you guys, with our family members, our cast members, and the great thing is, not only will the Texas community, Panhandle community, see it, but anyone can see this. Family members who are in California or Seattle or wherever, anyone who wants can watch the show in the next 2 weeks by purchasing a digital ticket. Again, we want to remind you that to watch the show, visit our website, AmarilloLittleTheater.org, and click on tickets. You can then purchase a ticket for any of the shows between now, July 10th through the 24th. Again, those shows are going to be at noon and 6 p.m. every night or every day, with a 6-hour window to watch. You can also call our box office, 806-355-9991. Tickets are $12 for an individual to view it. And we say if there's going to be more than one person, then buy a family viewing, it's $20. You save money instead of buying multiple individual tickets or individual viewings. And we have a great little cute video of, once you purchase your ticket, of how to watch the show. Thanks for purchasing a ticket to Anne of Green Gables. Here's how to watch the show. On the Amarillo Little Theater website, click Tickets on the upper right-hand corner. This will bring you to the Amarillo Little Theater login page, where it says email. Enter your email and enter the password you have to get into your secure Amarillo Little Theater account. Click Log In. On the left-hand side, you'll see Tickets for Upcoming Performances. Click on that, and it will bring you to all of the tickets that you have for upcoming shows. As soon as your show starts, click on the Watch button, and it'll lead you to the ALT Viewer page. On this page, all you have to do is sit back, relax, and click play. Enjoy the show. We experimented with the Show Must Go Online when we were doing all of our testing for Anne of Green Gables. So people are like, why are we going to watch Show Must Go Online? No, it's Anne of Green Gables for sure. Something that you guys don't even know about, but we want to make sure. Oh, I want to pull up a quick comment that I love this. Braden said, I've told friends in New York to watch it. I love it. Tell everyone. Tell all the peeps. I love it so much. We something that you guys don't know about, we do a kind of intro at the beginning of the show to kind of explain this as well. But we know that sometimes it's hard whenever you are used to things, especially, meet and greets and how things are normally done at ALT. And so one thing that we won't have are your break a leg notes with your headshots that people can, when they see the show, that they can comment and buy a break a leg note for $1 and attach it. And it's a great keepsake for you guys. So what we did, and now ALT has this, which is exciting. Two ways. People who are watching the show can still write a break a leg note for anyone in the cast. They can go to our website and make a donation towards the Academy funding. And then on the line that says, how do you want it listed in the program? That's where you would write the break a leg note. We include all that in the video. But the other way to do it, and the easiest way, really honestly, is to do it through Venmo. Our ALT now has a Venmo account. We are at Amarillo-Theater. It's not by our phone number. You have to enter the at Amarillo-Theater. And then in the memo line, when it says, what's this for? You can write, break a leg note for Michaela Garrett. Great job on your first show at ALT as production assistant director. Hope you keep doing awesome things. That was me in my texting. Apparently I was on a roller coaster, earthquake, who knows. But so if you want, while you're watching the show, if you want to make a donation, we suggest, think about how much you might have spent at the concession or break a leg notes, and maybe make a donation to the theater so we can keep doing things like this and bring live theater still to Amarillo audiences. In a perfect world, this will be our last, filming of a show and having to provide it digitally, because it means that we get to have everyone back in our theater and do theater the live way, the way that we've learned to love. And so we're hoping we can do that. Sorry, hold on real quick. This show is parallel with a virtual Hamilton video. That's right. We did not want to premiere it last weekend because we knew everyone would be watching Hamilton instead of Anne of Green Gables. So we did one extra week than normal. Tiffany says, where can we find the how-to video to help our older friends? Great question, Tiffany. The how-to video is, I know, on the email blast that went out, but we will make sure it is also on our website. I will add that how-to video, Tiffany, on our website as soon as we get off this broadcast. Also, our digital program is on our website. The program for Anne of Green Gables, I think that also gets sent out to people who, when they buy tickets. I need to double check on that. But the digital program is also, so you can follow along on who is who in the show. Are you guys excited about seeing it? I mean, are you guys nervous, excited? Are you like, don't know what to do?
I'm super.
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I've never.
Are you watching it tonight?
What?
Are you watching the show tonight?
Yes, I am.
Ashton's like 5:59. I'm clicking. Watch. Yeah, I love it. Emily, I know we talked off camera. You're gonna watch it tomorrow because that's when your family could watch it, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And then Kaden?
I'll also be watching tomorrow because I have a dinner with my new roommate at college tonight that I'm heading to. So.
Awesome. Wear your mask. So sorry. Yeah. We also want to make sure everyone who's watching, just because we didn't get to do it Thursdays at 3 yesterday, we want to remind everyone that today is the last day to get bonus tickets when you buy a season ticket package for next season. So if you want, buy season tickets. Today you'll get bonus tickets. You can use those season tickets to watch Anne of Green Gables tonight. You can use it for any of the Academy shows, Mainstay shows, Adventure Space shows, all of that. So don't forget to get your season tickets. If you have not already purchased your season ticket package, do so today to get those extra bonus tickets. If you do it next week, it's you still can. You just won't get the bonus tickets. I bought mine this week. I was like, I gotta remember, and so I had Joe run my credit card real quick. Let's see. Brain says, I told myself I won't criticize myself during that killer monologue. Exactly. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show, Braden. You did an excellent job. Our whole cast did great. And the cool thing, I think, that the silver lining is you guys get an awesome HD edited version of the show. Like Rick did such a great job filming it and editing it. So it's a great keepsake to have. But also when you guys are in a show, you don't ever get to sometimes see all the elements of the other scenes. So I'm really excited for you guys to all see all the elements of the school scene, in the school scene and in the church, the Sunday school scene. Pay attention to every single person on those pews. Like every time we watch it, we watch somebody else, and there's like full character development. There's full stories being told by all of those little kids. It's just awesome. So, we can't wait for everyone to watch it tonight. Don't forget tonight, 6 p.m. it starts. You can watch it from now till the 24th at noon and at 6 p.m. every night. Again, $12 for individual viewing, $20 for family viewing. Contact our ALT box office if you have any questions. I can't wait for you guys to see the show. Hopefully you guys will social media, all that good stuff afterwards so we hear what you think. Or shoot me and Michaela a text. Let me know what you think, Ashlyn, Emily, and Kaden, because I want to hear your thoughts on the show as well. We should also mention the show is for everyone, all family members, rated G. And also it's about 2 hours. We don't give you a 15-minute intermission break, but we definitely have a spot where it's intermission where you could pause and have your own intermission if you'd like. But the video itself with our intro and different things like that is about just under 2 hours. So just to let you guys all know once you watch it. All right, guys. We're so good to see you, even though it's over StreamYard and digitally. But we hope you guys all have a great evening. We hope all of our Amarillo Little Theater patrons and viewers get to watch Amarillo Little Theater's production of Anne of Green Gables starting tonight. And don't forget, get your season tickets sometime today so you get those bonus tickets. Hopefully, we'll all see you guys live in person at the theaters soon. But until then, enjoy our digital production of Anne of Green Gables. Kaden, Emily, Ashley, you guys stay safe. And me and Michaela are going to get back to work. So we will see you guys hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.